Hey, creative souls, thanks so much for tuning in. I am so happy that you're here. My name is Johnny. I am a published fiction writer and a retired adjunct writing professor. For 2 decades, I helped college students get their words on the page. Now I teach fiction writing and screenwriting to adults in custody. I am on this earth to heal the world through stories, whether it's the ones I write and tell or the ones that I help you write and tell. I call myself a word witch, and if you want to know more about what I mean by that, check out my video called On Being a Word Witch. I'm new here on YouTube, and I would really sincerely appreciate your help in growing my channel. I believe in this notion of energetic reciprocity, so if anything I say resonates with you, helps you in some way, please support me, because the more I can grow this channel, the more I can accomplish in my quest to heal the world through stories. Because as I always say, stories can heal the world, so let's do it together. Okay, so in this video, I want to talk about Mercury Retrograde in Aries, which just started yesterday on April 1st. And I think this is an important one. Mercury retrogrades are always, I think, a big help to writers. I know they get a bad rap, but I always tell people retrogrades are a great time to go back over writing projects you've been working on and just rethink and reconsider. Don't worry so much about creating new work. And of course, if new work comes out, great, let it happen. But we can really take this time to step back and breathe and rethink things and rework, restructure, all of those things. And in doing that, then clarity comes, right? This particular retrograde in Mars is interesting because, or in Aries, excuse me, Mars rules Aries. And so having this fiery action energy that wants to just get shit done in a retrograde phase in Mercury is a bit like this pressing on the gas and brake pedals simultaneously. So it creates a lot of tension, and we can use this to our benefit, but now is not a good time to try and force anything. Ways this might show up over the next few weeks as this retrograde continues. We might see a lot of false starts. So if we try to start something new, it might not go as we expected, and so we have to keep restarting and restarting. And so sometimes that's why I said it's better to just wait until the retrograde has passed before we try and start something new. You might see other people jumping to conclusions around your words. And, so just let them do that. Try not to do that. Do your best to not do that yourself. And just take a deep breath. And let people, including your characters, sort things out for themselves. Like, now's a really good time to listen. Listen more and talk less. Listen more and force your characters less. With this retrograde in Aries, we get a second chance to acknowledge the end of a cycle. So this could be an end to something you've been working on. You might finish it up, go back over it, get it polished up to send it out for submission. It might be an end to some struggle you've had with a piece of writing. It might be an end to something else in your life that has been getting in the way of your writing, okay? So being able to acknowledge the end of that is a really powerful thing in this point in time. This is also a good time to embrace our fearless innocence. So this is the courage to resolve and transform procrastination. And this includes procrastinating sharing the truth. So if you're working on a project and you have felt afraid to finish it or to get it out in the world because what will people think of me? What will my family think? What will my friends think? What will strangers think when they read it? Now is a good time to really embrace this fearlessness in ourselves. And I like this term fearless innocence because there's a certain kind of naivete that is really lovely. Like when I made my feature film, I had no idea what I was getting into, and had I known, I may not have done it. Same thing with when I was married. We built this great big house and custom house, and we did a lot of the construction ourselves. And I think had we known what we were getting into, we would not have done it. But once you're in it, you just keep going, right? And so there's this, that's what I mean by this innocence. It's this naivete that's fearless, and just there's a certain kind of power in that. So if you can, let that kind of take over during this retrograde, and, not to the point of harming you or anyone else, for sure. But here's some finer points about how to think of this retrograde. And, just take a deep breath and write and know that everything will be okay. You can always go back, always, and fix things. So with this one in particular, because it's in Aries and there is this tension, here are a few caveats. Choose your words carefully. So if you're revisiting or editing an in-progress piece of work, really focus on your word choice. This might be a great time to do that. Like, really get down to the words in each sentence and think, is there a better word I can use in this instance to say exactly what I want to say? And as I said earlier, listen more and talk less, right? So give your characters room to move and breathe, and then trust and believe what they tell you. Rediscover your grit. So this, if you're a writer, you are likely a sensitive soul. I think most, if not all of us are. So definitely, yes, acknowledge that. You're also really tough. We writers, I just also created another video. I don't even know what I'm going to title it yet, but it's going to be posted today as well on April 2nd. And I'm going to link this video in it. But it's one of my longer videos. It's a little over an hour long. And I talk about a lot of things in it. But I talk about being a person who is wired in a certain way that I believe writers are. I think we are both sensitive and we also have tons of grit. And I think this happens because we are able to see and experience multiple things in multiple ways all at once. This is something we can use to our benefit. So really rediscover that in yourself. Like if you're feeling fearful, really embrace your grit at this point in time. And I'm not saying deny your sensitivity. No, we don't ever want to do that. But really acknowledge that you do have this grit inside you to write this thing that you're writing, to withstand any comments that people might want to make about it, because if you're coming from a real place, And then focus on motivating yourself rather than other people. Okay? Stay in your lane during this retrograde, like big time stay in your lane. We all live in our own messy existences, and let others sort theirs out. If they share them with you, just simply say, thank you for sharing that with me. If they ask you for help, by all means help them, but I would say don't be Mr. or Miss Fix-It ever, but especially during this retrograde. I think it could lead to more complications. So just save your energy for yourself and your writing. Okay, so that's it for this, how to deal with your writing during this Mercury retrograde in Aries. All right, so I hope that helps. Sending you mad writing mojo. Happy writing.